Okay, we good? I finally got it. Oh my gosh. So, anyways, hello everybody. My name is Amelia, and welcome to another one of my little short videos I decided to do. Like I said, kind of in the wild. And this time I'm not wearing a face mask, and that's because I'm actually in my car. And I've had the hardest time getting my phone to mount to this bracket on my. Because I have this special thing that goes on the back of the phone that came with the phone, and the stick went bad on it. I've had to go through 4 phones in the last 6 months. Really sucks. So anyways, there goes one of my supervisors. So anyways, I just thought I needed to upload a video real quick. I'm gonna try to make this snappy, just talking. As you can even see, my phone sways sometimes. Just talking about what's been going on with me, where I stand. I am really totally blanking on everything that's been going on with me, as far as my my videos on YouTube goes. I haven't. I've. Gosh, I wish I could remember if I've even done a video on it yet, but my surgery got canceled back in April 22nd, as some people probably know. Again, not a big deal if you did or not. And they have moved my surgery up to July 21st. Originally it was July 27th, then they moved to July 1st. So, yeah, now I have the surgery approaching in 5 weeks, 3 days, and 12 hours. I literally have a countdown on my phone now. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, you should do a countdown. And I'm like, oh, I should? And now I realize with how antsy I'm getting about this whole thing, that maybe they're not wrong. Okay, it's just so weird when you see people watching, and you just see people doing really weird things in the parking lot, and you're just like, um, I honestly am very nervous and excited to be coming up on this whole thing. Um, and I I've had probably 3 or 4 coworkers all ask me, what is it that makes you the most nervous about it? Why are you not, why is it so hard? And I think honestly it's come down to the fact that, as I have found out, more than likely KU Med is not going to allow visitors. They right now don't allow them, and they probably will continue to not allow them. And okay, that's the truck I was watching, and like one of my coworkers just drove up in one car and then got out and jumped in the car with that. I don't know. It's just so weird. Um, I think I'm really scared of the fact that I'm gonna have to go in this alone, and I'm. The other day, me and my roommate went to Culver's, and we were literally sitting there out in front of St. Luke's Hospital here in Kansas City, eating at a Culver's, and I just looked over. I mean, this is a massive hospital right over here near where I work. And this massive hospital, I was just sitting here looking over at it, and it was just so funny because just looking at it, I started feeling uneasiness and just feeling, oh, just like nervous, the butterflies in the stomach, just being like, oh my gosh, like that's going to be the kind of place I'm going to be going in 5 weeks. I'm going to be walking right into that one of those places, and more than likely, I am going to have to be alone. I am getting something that I've wanted for so much of my life, and I'm going to have to face it alone. It's scary. I know it's human. I know it's human to be scared of the unknown, because I haven't been to a doctor very much in my entire life. I've maybe been to a doctor a few times when I was very young, and then probably never through my teens. The first time I was back at a doctor was the emergency room, sometime in my mid 20s when I had gotten in an accident. Not really an accident, but I cut open my leg on something and I had to get stitches. And then again, there was another few year break of me going to the hospital. And then more recently, I have been to the doctor more in the last 2 years for my transition than I have been my entire life. I keep trying to tell myself that this is just another phase in the process. It's just another phase, another chapter. I need to remind myself how hard it was for me, even that very, very first time that I went and I started HRT. Here it is today. That's what I need to do. That's how I need to think about it. Here I am today, approaching 19 months on hormones, which means that I'm going to be hitting just about 20. Oh my gosh. You know what's even scarier is I think I'm only going to be like a few days shy, or because I started October 25th on hormones and my surgery's July 21st. Yeah, it's going to be almost exactly 20 months. Anyways, I got to think back to the fact that I remember, you guys, anyone watching this, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I was really scared. I was really scared then. I totally looked even different. Yeah, maybe my appearance is still not perfect, and maybe I'm still very unconfident in who I still feel like I look like a guy in 99% of the time. Even now, I feel like I'm still a guy, but I don't feel that. Is it kind of weird to put that? Like, after I came out, all the more do I feel like I'm a woman. I identify myself as Amelia. I identify myself as a woman. I identify. My coworkers sit there and I've had coworkers come up to me and they're just like, I see nothing but a girl. They're like, you don't even come off as a man. I had one lady even today, she gave me like the highest compliment, being like, she's like, I don't even, she's like, personality wise, she's like, you are spot on. She's like, I wouldn't even be second guessing. And I've had other people, even all the way back to April of last year, people being like, oh yeah, you're a girl. Like, even my roommate, who's actually, to be honest, I'm sorry, and if she happens to be watching this, I honestly feel that she's kind of transphobic. But even she sits there and she's like, she's like, I absolutely 100% believe that you are supposed to be born a woman. I believe it. However, probably just because I'm so used to myself, and the fact that I've also, as I probably pointed out in another video, because of this whole pandemic, I haven't been able to get regular laser, so I got this really bad shadowing all happening. It's better. I had a treatment last week, but it takes about a week or two for it to actually shed properly. But it's better. It's finally starting to look back to the way it was. But in a lot of ways, I feel like I can't be fully happy with myself until I get FFS, facial feminizing surgery, to at least clean up a few things about my face I do not like. I know that a lot of people, there are people that have seen just my face and they sit there and say, oh yeah, that's a girl, but honestly, I don't know if that's just because of my softness of my skin, which I kind of have baby smooth skin now, or other things. I don't know what they're actually going off of, to be completely 100% honest. But still, because of my internal insecurities, I think that's part of what makes me nervous, is going into that hospital and being like, this is it. This is it. And even back then, I looked like a completely different person when I started HRT. And that was just at a clinic of all places. I remember walking in, asking questions. Nothing was more nervous than sitting there in that office waiting for the doctor to come in, so that I had, like, some people might have seen, I have a photo sitting there with my signed consent forms. And honestly, this is going to happen again. This whole thing is going to happen again. I don't really know what's going to happen, but I do know that I'm going to be in my room. They're going to put me in my hospital. They're going to check me into my hospital room. They're going to be doing some final testing, and while I wait, they're going to be prepping OR. And then I'm sure at one point they're going to bring in the final consent forms because I have to sign. I have to sign some final. I do know without a doubt one of the consent forms I have to sign is a permanent sterilization consent form. Basically, me signing off saying that I understand that this procedure is going to leave me indefinitely sterile. Honestly, to be honest, I'm not really like I'm kind of 50-50 on it because like half of me is like, why the frick is this? Why the frick is this such a hard thing for you? You're very likely already sterile. After nearly 19 months of HRT, you're more than likely sterile already. The other half of me going, well, it's always a changing landscape of fertility and da 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 da. And then there's like these tests going on where they're like taking stem cells and making eggs out of stem cells. So maybe there's a chance, but then there's that part of me that goes, but there's plenty of children out there that need to be adopted by a loving parent. That could be me. Um, and if that even happened, I probably would have to find a surrogate. It's very unlikely. The chances of me being able, it's like the facial feminizing surgery. The chances of me being able to afford like a womb transplant so that I could actually give birth to my own child is very unlikely. Yeah, womb transplants are probably going to go somewhere in the next 5 years. There'll probably come a point that it might be an option for me. I could probably find a doctor that would do it. But number one is the cost. And number two is what are the chances? Very low, honestly. So my biggest problem being is just simply getting back to the point at hand. I was nervous about the HRT. I sat in the office, and I remember right after I had gotten my prescription and I had picked it up, a nurse had taken me over into one of the empty, like, consult rooms. I don't know what it was. And right then and there, I injected my leg for the very first time with a high dose. It was actually a very high dose. It was a whole milliliter, which is saying something considering that I am now down to a quarter of a millimeter every week. That was a whole milliliter every 2 weeks. That's quite a significant difference, but it's still the fact of that was then. I got used to it, and now it's just routine to me. I mean, yeah, I still kind of get a little, you know, bummed when it's kind of like, oh, it's Wednesday again. Yeah, that means I need to do my injection again. So I gotta pull out that needle, do the work, and then usually I get through it because it's just something. But surgery, this is gonna be the same thing. I'm gonna be really nervous going in, very tender about it, and then I'm gonna come out and be laying in that bed. I think the recovery from that phase on is gonna be a little difficult, but then again, 20 months go by, I'm post-op, I'm like 3 to 4 years down the road transitioning, and then I'm gonna sit there and be doing my maintenance routines and just be sitting there and thinking to myself, oh, yeah, this is just kind of normal for me. Gonna come a point that I'm only gonna have to dilate once a week, and it's just gonna be its thing. So anyways, so there's your little update video. Hopefully I can do my next Ipsy video very soon, which honestly I'm gonna have like 2.5 bags of Ipsy to finally do. Like, I got one whole bag, and then I got another bag that's gonna probably be coming any day, and then I got, like, as I mentioned, that one half bag that I got shorted on and they sent me replacements for, and ugh, I just need to do an Ipsy bag, or an Ipsy video. Anyways, I hope everyone's enjoying this stuff, and please follow me, and we'll see where this whole thing goes. And if any of my coworkers are watching, hi! welcome to my videos, and I really appreciate you. You mean so much to me in my life and this journey, and I don't know where the frick I'm going next with it. So, talk to you all later. Bye.